Lewis Hamilton has been dramatically dismissed by Ferrari, and once Formula One returns from the summer break, he will no longer be seen in red. The question gripping the paddock is why Ferrari took such a ruthless step, who will replace him, and where Hamilton will continue his career. The shocking end to this high-profile partnership has shaken the very core of Formula One, leaving fans and insiders stunned by the abruptness of Ferrari's decision. Just a few months ago, Hamilton's arrival in Maranello was celebrated as one of the greatest moves of the modern era, a union between the most successful driver in history and the most iconic team the sport has ever known. Fans dreamed of Ferrari returning to glory, of Hamilton lifting championships in scarlet, of a renaissance that would put the Scuderia back on top. Instead, the dream collapsed in brutal fashion with Ferrari invoking a performance clause hidden within Hamilton's contract. That clause demanded a minimum points tally by mid-season, and failure to meet it would allow Ferrari to sever ties. Despite Hamilton's unparalleled achievements, he failed to reach the threshold. The statistics were damning: fewer points than Charles Leclerc, inconsistent qualifying performances, rare mistakes under pressure, and, most critically, the absence of victories to justify Ferrari's massive financial commitment. But numbers only tell half the story. The partnership began to crumble not only on track, but within Ferrari's culture. Hamilton arrived determined to bring change, challenging traditions, and urging structural reforms he believed necessary to rival Red Bull and Mercedes. He submitted detailed reports, pushed for modernized communication systems, and highlighted strategic flaws that repeatedly cost Ferrari results. Some welcomed his honesty, but many within the team, rooted in Ferrari's traditions, saw him as a disruptive outsider rather than a savior. That cultural clash widened with every race, and the atmosphere grew more toxic as podiums slipped away and patience thinned. The breaking point came after Silverstone, where tire degradation, strategy blunders, and a costly late error defined the weekend. For Ferrari's leadership, already concerned, this was the final straw. During the summer shutdown, they acted swiftly, executing the clause and ending the partnership in ruthless fashion. The announcement stunned fans worldwide. Hamilton and Ferrari red had symbolized hope, and now that image is reduced to disappointment. Supporters expressed outrage on social media, while analysts debated whether Ferrari was justified in prioritizing results over loyalty. Rival teams watched with interest, recognizing that Hamilton's availability could transform the driver market. Insiders revealed that Hamilton himself felt devastated, not only by the dismissal, but by what he saw as Ferrari's lack of faith. He reminded those close to him that his success with Mercedes took time, that dynasties are not built overnight, and that Ferrari's impatience had cost them the chance to create something special. Instead, they opted for quick judgment, choosing to sever ties rather than endure the struggles of rebuilding. This decision left Hamilton at a crossroads. Retirement whispers grew louder, but those who know him believe he won't let his career end this way. Instead, speculation has exploded about his next move, with talk of a sensational return to Mercedes, a shocking switch to Red Bull, or even a bold gamble with Aston Martin. For Ferrari, the risk is clear. By cutting ties with the greatest driver of his generation, they may have protected themselves in the short term, but ignited a controversy that could haunt them long into the future. What makes the story even more dramatic is the deteriorating dynamic inside Ferrari between Hamilton and Leclerc. Initially marketed as a dream partnership between Hamilton's experience and Leclerc's youthful speed, it quickly unraveled into rivalry. Disagreements over setups left engineers stuck between two contrasting philosophies. Weeks of development were wasted, and tension filled the garage. Leclerc, long seen as Ferrari's future, began to feel suffocated by Hamilton's presence and reportedly voiced his concerns directly to executives, accusing Hamilton of destabilizing the team. At the same time, Hamilton's relationship with team principal Frederick Vasseur soured. While initially constructive, Hamilton's critical reports started being seen not as guidance, but as indictments of Ferrari's culture. Meetings grew tense as Hamilton openly challenged strategies in front of staff, a style encouraged at Mercedes but frowned upon at Ferrari. For Vasseur, already under pressure from Ferrari chairman John Elkann, Hamilton's confrontational tone became a liability, and what began as partnership turned into a battle of authority. The final collapse came at Spa, where Hamilton's qualifying mistake and lackluster race confirmed Ferrari's doubts. Behind closed doors, lawyers and executives gathered, and during the summer break, Hamilton was summoned to Maranello. Expecting a debrief, he instead faced a blunt half-hour meeting that ended his Ferrari career. Papers were presented, his contract terminated. Hamilton argued passionately that Ferrari had failed to provide a car capable of winning, but the leadership pointed coldly to the clause, offering no room for negotiation. When Hamilton left the factory, he was no longer a Ferrari driver. News spread within minutes, sending shockwaves through the sport. What followed was even more explosive. Within 48 hours, Hamilton was seen in Monaco meeting with Toto Wolff, his longtime confidant and the architect of Mercedes' golden era. Rumors of a reunion ignited instantly, sparking debate over whether Hamilton could return to the team that defined his career. While Mercedes had been grooming George Russell and young prodigy Andrea Kimi Antonelli for the future, the chance to bring Hamilton back, even on a short-term deal, is too tempting to dismiss. For Wolff, the symbolism is powerful, the return of the champion who built Mercedes' dynasty. For Hamilton, it offers redemption, a chance to rewrite his ending on his own terms. The prospect of Hamilton's return raises huge questions. Could Russell coexist with him, knowing Hamilton's influence in the garage? Would Antonelli's path to Formula One be delayed for the sake of a reunion? And would Ferrari regret cutting ties if Hamilton returned to winning ways at Mercedes? Meanwhile, Ferrari is dealing with its own fallout. Sponsors who invested heavily in Hamilton's Ferrari project feel betrayed, with campaigns and advertisements rendered worthless. The Tifosi, Ferrari's loyal fans, are furious, flooding social media with outrage and accusing leadership of betrayal. Yet inside Maranello, there is also relief. With Hamilton gone, Leclerc now stands as the uncontested leader, and Vasseur regains authority without needing to accommodate a superstar's demands. But whether that stability translates into success remains uncertain. Ferrari's inconsistency in car development and strategy still haunts them, and without Hamilton's experience and influence, they risk repeating old mistakes. Across the grid, rival teams see opportunity. Red Bull, McLaren, Aston Martin, and Audi all recognize that Hamilton's presence brings more than performance. It brings marketing power, global influence, and legitimacy. To sign him would be to add not just a driver, but a legend whose name elevates any brand. At the same time, whispers of retirement continue to circulate. Could Hamilton, tired of politics and betrayal, walk away entirely? Such an exit would be devastating for Formula One, robbing the sport of one of its greatest icons. The image of Hamilton leaving Ferrari under such circumstances has already become one of the most dramatic spectacles in recent memory. Analysts now debate whether Ferrari's move was bold accountability or catastrophic miscalculation. Did they rid themselves of a disruptor, or did they throw away a visionary who could have rebuilt them from within? Every race that follows will test whether Ferrari's gamble pays off or backfires spectacularly. For Hamilton, the summer break has become the most important turning point of his career. While others rest, he faces decisions that will shape not only his legacy but the sport's future. A reunion with Mercedes would be an epic homecoming. A move to another team would prove he remains hungry for new challenges. And stepping away, while painful, would assert control in a world where so much lies beyond it. Formula One thrives on unpredictability, and this saga has delivered one of the most captivating twists in years. The sight of Hamilton leaving Ferrari in turmoil and possibly preparing for a new chapter embodies why the sport is more than racing. It is drama, politics, power, and legacy. Whatever Hamilton decides next, the consequences will ripple for years, redefining his destiny and reshaping the landscape of Formula One.